welcome everyone to another episode of the Adeptus podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. My co-host is Bricky, although he's a little under the weather today, so he'll talk about it. And we have a special guest today, your friend and mine, Kirioth. But before we get too far into that, if you enjoy today's episode and you feel like supporting your favorite Warhammer 40k podcast, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Consider supporting us. You get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. The $15 tier gets all the HD posters. And yeah, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, do you think you're going to be up for talking about the merch and the book, or do you want me to do it?
I'm always up to talk about things that make me money, DK.
Oh boy, you sound great.
I have strep throat and unrelated pink eye. Nurgle sat his fat ass on my face, and it gave me two problems.
It do be farting, though, that thing.
That thing do be farting.
Imagine how resilient you're going to be at the end of it, though.
Disgustingly resilient.
Disgustingly.
Or he's just going to be a mindless zombie that can't feel pain anymore.
I mean, either
one of
is
these
probably an
things is
improvement,
going
right?
to happen. Wow. Shy is rubbing off. Yes, merch. We have 3 new posters. We have the Moth Girl poster for Detective Ridiculous. If you want to see Mothman, but as a busty ass moth for some reason, that's available. And we have 2 other awesome posters. The one with DK about to get shot by Shy, and the badass one. And those are all together. We were going to film the episode of Belisarius' Call, The Great Work, this week, but I'm dying. So we're filming that next week. So finish the damn book. All right, that's good. I'm done.
Yeah, Bricky's done. He's done his due diligence. So we'll hand it over to Kirioth.
I really like the for some reason after the Moth Girl poster. We know what the reason is, because people buy them every time. Speaking of which, there is a little bit of follow-up business from the last time I was on. Was it the Space Wolf poster?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
Sure
he was
the
there last time.
Lupine one. Yeah, and it went exactly like I said it would.
We sold out of all 212 hours.
That sounds about right.
There was
I'm
none
kicking
left
myself. I am kicking myself for not selling 500. I'm mad.
Yeah, there's none
DK
left for me to
wins.
plaster my walls. So yeah, my walls are barren once again.
I mean, just have to do a special edition reprint with like a fancy border or something. Just you might as well, if it's sold out that quickly. People will buy it again, surely.
Yeah, just change the color of the eyes so it's not the exact same thing, so we can get around the fact that it was a limited print, right?
Yeah, that's how. Surely that's how many
It's the
manufacturers do that
orange
stuff.
eye edition, right? You just change the saturation on only the eyes, and hey, we're gonna sell 500 more of them, guys. We're not.
Take
by
the
way.
Wizards of the Coast approach, reprint them, say that you're not allowed to put them up, and charge even more the second time. That's the best. It works. It works every. Oh wait, no, that actually didn't work, did it? No, that was a terrible idea. Don't do that.
Yeah. So Kirioth, what are we up to today? We have brought you here today for a reason. I don't know the reason. Usually it's ships, dreadnoughts, knights, something heavily mechanical, tanks. So, Kirioth, I ask you, what are you doing here today?
It's a mix. It's a mix of all 3 today, kind of, because we're going to take a look at some Craftworld vehicles.
Ah, okay.
We'll start off with some of the smaller things for the Eldar.
Okay.
So they have a few different varieties of jet bike, effectively. They've got the standard jet bike, single person on it, couple of light weapons, very fast, very maneuverable, used in little squadrons. But you can also get a slightly heavier kind of variety of that in terms of something called the Viper, which is pretty much a jet bike with a bit of extra wing and a bigger gun on the back of it, manned by a lad who I assume is strapped in really well because, turning corners. it could be bad for him otherwise.
Well, he's an Eldar. It's fine. They can handle the G's, right?
Super light on their feet. Like, you'd think that they'd either be able to handle the cornering, or if they fell off, do a sweet backflip and land it. Do the superhero pose.
Oh,
surely,
nice.
If they can't do that, then they don't deserve to make it off.
Oh yeah, like a banshee doing a backflip off of a jet bike, and then just
exactly that.
I like that. I like the sound of that. God, their jet bikes are so cool looking. They're so sleek and pointy, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, the newer ones are the ones that Shai's just put in, which are the Raptor jet bikes. So you've got a couple of scouts on there. So they get to fly around at speed and also snipe people, which you would think would be difficult, but they're Eldar, so it's not.
Of course not.
Yeah, they don't look like
they're strapped in very well.
Those are the Shroud Runners, yeah? Those new ones?
Yes. So they...
yeah.
I love those. I think they're a great sculpt. They're like a nice update as well.
They're one of the few Craftworld things that I think actually look really, really cool. Just the idea, like, how you're gonna have like a 200-mile-per-hour jet bike, and some dude's gonna take a sniper rifle onto it. He's like, who else but Eldar?
Also, is that like a... I don't want to say a machine. Is that like a blaster on the underside of the jet bike?
So the jet bikes usually have twin-linked shuriken cannon catapults. Sorry, shuriken catapults. Shuriken cannon is the larger, like, beefier version. So you can either have two of the catapults or one cannon, and they're the ones that fire off these like monofilament rounds. So it's like chucking a shuriken ninja style, but they're launched at ridiculous speed, and they're like one speeds. Molecule thick. Mm-hmm. So they're like the sharpest thing you could possibly mass manufacture, I guess. And they go through pretty much anything. People, armor. They're pretty nasty.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to get hit by one of those.
It's one of the fun things
you probably
about
wouldn't
the
even
Eldar.
Notice it until you bled out.
Just leg falls off and you're not sure why. That's probably
well, because it's moving so fast, you probably don't even have time to register that it hit you, right?
It's pretty nasty. It's pretty bad. It's also something I really like about the Eldar weaponry is the fact that like their basic weapon is just a physical thing. It's just like it just fires these monomolecular discs that slice through pretty much anything. When a lot of their stuff is like, it's kind of grown. They grow their like wraithbone stuff. They grow crystals and things for their like energy weapons. But when you get right down to it, they are basically doing the ninja thing, but using a gun to launch it instead of chucking it.
What a bunch of weebs throwing shurikens at high speed. Weebs.
Surely we can't take the weeb title off of Tau just from some shurikens.
Yeah,
although,
I guess.
Actually, I say that. Surely they've got the backflips, they've got the spin moves. That's all pretty weeb, isn't it?
It's the type of weeb. Tau have the Gundam weeb. Eldar have the teleports behind you. Nani weeb.
Yeah, Tau are like literally. The battle tech. Tau's like the BattleTech Macross Gundam weebs, and the Eldar, the ninja Naruto ninjutsu, do the crazy thing with your hands weeb.
At the end of the day, Xenos weeb all round, to be honest.
Oh yeah. We're all the Imperium here. Burn the Xenos, right?
Whoa.
I would like to distance myself from that statement.
Necron supremacy.
That's true. Yeah, don't label people as being not as racist as they could be. Come on.
It's true.
Let's be fair here.
You gotta be fair.
There is another jet bike that there is like this is one of the coolest things that Games Workshop has ever made, right? But it's a Forge World thing. And it's the Hornet. And the Hornet is not like the other jet bikes. So the other jet bikes have an exposed rider. They're like quite small form. they may have a heavier weapon, but if they have a heavier weapon, it's on the back and it's being, aimed by a passenger. Or in the case of the Raptor jet bikes, you've got a sniper on the back. The Hornet is a fully enclosed scout vehicle.
Ooh, those are so cool.
And it is the best. I love this. And I think it's one of the best Eldar designs that they've done.
Oh, I love that. That is so dope.
It's amazing. It also, when going in a straight line, can get up to 600 kilometers an hour. So
Holy
it's pretty quick.
Sheesh. Wow, that's okay. So that just blinks right by you. You blink.
Basically,
and it's
can do
gone.
like short range flight if you really want it to. So it's not only the best looking one they have access to in terms of the lighter like jet bike vehicles. It also is the most fun, I think, of all of them.
Thank you, Shy. Shy said that's 372 freedom units. Thanks, Shy.
Yeah, America. Woo.
Ooh. Poor Bricky.
that might be my
that in,
favorite.
Shy.
Well, I'm gonna need an isolated clip of that to send to people. That was loved it.
Oh boy. Yeah. I knew it was fast, but now I know exactly how fast.
So this thing can just have like shuriken cannons or scatter lasers, but it can also be equipped with like bright lances, which are the Eldar equivalent of a las cannon. So if you want like an anti-tank platform, you can use this to take out heavier vehicles just due to the speed and maneuverability, and it's the coolest. And I want one, and one day it'll happen. It just seems like a frivolous purchase because I don't have an Eldar army, so it seems a bit daft, but it's so cool.
I like the naming scheme, Bright Lance. Very on the nose. You know exactly what that thing's gonna do. It's just, very, very good, Eldar. Very good.
It's way more efficient than
Wars?
the. No, get out.
The
No,
one
absolutely not.
do you mean the one that like wraps around the what are they AT-ATs?
Yeah.
Those ones?
No, I see what she means because it's like the two guns on the top kind of point out. It's not quite as boxy, but imagine if all the open spots kind of filled up with stuff. It would look kind of similar.
I mean, that's a stretch.
Oh, it's a stretch. No, this is definitely a fucking stretch. But I get why she's thinking this.
I mean, that's it, to take a pun I would always use from Warframe. That's a primed reach, Shy.
Die.
I love how that started out supportive of the argument, and then immediately it went fully downhill at the end. It's like,
Briggy's like, never mind. I suddenly agree with Shy completely.
What's the meatball guy say? He's like, I get it. I ain't laughing, but I get it. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Oh yeah, from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, that's a good one. That's fair.
Nah, I think before we go on to the full tanks of the Eldar, we should get something out of the way because this is going to be the most, I think, divisive thing that we touch on today. Okay. And it's a walker. See, the Eldar have got some cool walkers. They've got Wraith Lords and they've got Wraith Knights, and those both look quality. They both look really cool.
Are those the ones where you have to have a soul stone of like your sibling to pilot them?
Yeah, so the Wraith Knight it's piloted by one living twin and one dead twin for maximum
40k, yeah.
Maximum 40k. The Wraith Lord is just a dead one. But they do have something called the War Walker. And for me,
I hate this thing.
The
worst. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I don't know whose idea it was. I don't know why they did it. I would like to sit down and have a lengthy conversation as to why you would even make this thing to begin with.
Oh my god, what is that?
Yep.
It looks like
Yep.
It looks like, you know, when they show you the X-ray of like a uterus. It looks like that, but with like legs.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus!
I'm sorry. Where the fuck did that come from? Well, X-ray
I don't
of a
know.
uterus?
That's just the first thing I thought of when I saw this weird looking T posing thing in all red.
Why have you been googling X-rays of uteruses, bro? What's going on there?
Oh,
Look,
yo,
I'm not
DK's
Googling
pregnant. Let's
them.
go.
It's just, you know,
Congratulations on the baby.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but it just, I don't know. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not. Why does it have hooves? I have no idea. I don't know why that choice was made.
Have hooves.
Because it looks like it's it doesn't. It looks like hooves, but also at a glance, it just looks like it's walking on tiptoes or it's got high heels on. It's just I don't understand
terrible.
why they were made.
Oh wow, that's oof.
I mean, it's pretty much. It's just a little gun platform. You can stick bright lances or shuriken cannons on it, just bigger versions of shuriken catapults, missile launchers, and that's fine. But it didn't have to look like that, you know. It could have looked cooler than that.
Man, I cannot get over how ugly this thing is. Like, why is the canopy open? But it has a windscreen in front of it.
I mean, you're not telling me that that's going to do anything to help
anyone
if it gets
but
shot.
Why even bother with it? Oh, I hate everything about it. There's nothing about this I like.
I totally erased the 3rd edition version out of my head, and you've just shown it me again, and I'd forgotten that existed.
I suddenly understand why they put the windscreen in on that thing, because it looks so much worse without it, actually. Oh my god.
See, I don't think it looks any better with the windscreen. I just think they both look terrible in slightly different ways.
They are both terrible, but out of the two, I actually prefer the one with the screen on the front. Man, that baby carrier is so bad.
Oh, God.
God. Is it at least is it really good in tabletop at least? Like, is it just like, does it absolutely...
I actually don't know.
They're okay. It's the War Walkers are 55 points a model. A little more if you want good guns on them, but they're like at some point a T6 6 wound model with a 5-up invul becomes just kind of a pain to kill. Not to mention that they move 10 inches and, you know, they're kind of fast. They're okay. They could probably go down a little bit.
Okay.
I do have to correct myself on something. I always forget this because my just overwhelming hatred for that vehicle blinds me as to what it can actually do. It does have force fields on the front of it. It specifically has force fields laid out in such a way that it's kind of got like a sort of shimmery effect to it, so it blurs and kind of makes it more difficult to see where you're shooting when you're shooting at it, which gives allegedly the same sort of protection as it being fully enclosed, but I mean, just make it fully enclosed. It's the same thing with the Grey Knight baby carrier, where it says, it's got force fields. It's like being fully enclosed in the vehicle. Just do that then. Just do that.
Sorry,
do that.
idiots. Sorry, idiots. Imperial Guard sweep once again. Armored Sentinel, extremely based. Warlock, extremely cringe.
ATST. Yeah. It looks like an ATST.
There is another version of the War Walker, which is the Wasp Assault Walker. It's pretty much the same thing. It can just rapidly redeploy. It's got a little jet system on it, which is cool, but it looks too much like the other one. It's just got a slightly different face, and given that the problem isn't necessarily just the face, it's all of it.
Oof.
I don't know. It still doesn't do it for me. Still does not do it for me, that one.
I don't know, the excuse of, the reason there's no canopy is because it has an invisible force field that protects it, sounds to me like we need a reason as to why we ran out of plastic and couldn't finish the model. There's a force field! I swear!
It's also why every single Space Marine character can have no helmet on, because they have an iron halo.
Mm-hmm. It protects
just put your
them.
helmet on.
No, I swear.
It's also just from a modeling standpoint. You know what looks cool? Armor. You know what doesn't look cool? Invisible force fields, because they don't exist. You can't see them. So it just looks like there's nothing there. And I do get the whole suspension of disbelief, and you kind of have to do that with 40k, because otherwise the whole universe would fall apart and no vehicle would actually function. And every time a Lehman Russ fires, it would flip over backwards. But it's still you still got to have it needs to look cool for me. And the whole force field thing, it doesn't look cool. It just looks like there's some poor sod hanging out in the open when he could have had a little bit of a cockpit around him or something.
Yeah, something that looked cool. Yeah.
And especially when you contrast things like the Warwalker with the Wraith Lord. The Wraith Lord is, I think, objectively one of the coolest Eldar models.
Yeah.
It's their version of a dreadnought. It's menacing, it's spindly, but it carries a massive weapon, or either using a massive ranged weapon or a massive melee weapon. It looks threatening and menacing, and like it could just walk over to you and smash you to pieces. And even though it's spindly, it doesn't look weak. Yeah. Whereas for me, the Warwalker looks like a light breeze would knock it over. And it's just so different. The total lack of any sort of facial features. It's it's the head, but for me, when there's no eyes on something that looks like humanoid, it just makes it look more menacing for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why specifically that is, but just something that's totally featureless looks more threatening than something with features, especially when it's a construct of some kind.
Slender Man.
As soon as you said it has no eyes, I saw that one picture Shy posted, the first one, and I was like, oh, it's little glasses, and now that thing looks so much more goofy to me.
the little infinity.
Yeah, the infinity thing looks like little glasses, and now I'm like, oh, they're little eyes, and I'm like, oh no, he's a droopy little dude.
Oh, he does now. He
looks like a droopy little dude. Why would you do this to me? I've ruined the Eldar for everyone.
Oh, it really does as well. Now it looks like those. Oh god, there's what is it? The Moomins or something?
Yeah.
Have you, the hippo-like ones that have got the really long nose and then the little eyes at the top.
Yep.
Oh no.
Man. He's just a droopy little dude hanging out on top of the Wraith Lord. You're welcome, Kirioth.
Oh, Jesus. Why?
Kirioth's why did I show up today?
I came in
I
loving
should have
Wraith
called
Lords
in sick. Damn it.
Yeah.
So what's next, Kirioth?
I genuinely can't stop looking at it. So the chunkier kind of counterpart to the Wraith Lord is the Wraith Knight, which I think we did cover briefly in the general kind of Dreadnought episode. But it's still worth taking another glance at, because I think it's one of the best models that Games Workshop have done for the Eldar. It is a little bit... I feel like it got silly for a while there, where it was kind of obligatory that you had to have one, no matter what you were doing. But it still looks quite fast and quite maneuverable, and it still looks as though it could be on you in a second, even though it's absolutely massive. And it's like a classic heavy, large walker, just covered in guns. Absolutely covered in guns. So the arm weapons that are on the first one there, it's basically a vortex weapon. Vortex weapons are, I think the most well-known one is the D cannon, or the distortion cannon, depending on whether you want to lengthen it. There's been a few different names over the years. I'm sure I remember seeing it being called the displacer cannon as well. And the D cannon is super fun because it fires, and where it hits, it causes the material universe to collapse in on itself, like a black hole, but not a black hole, a warp hole. So if you're lucky
Ooh.
and you get hit by one, then you get crushed or torn to pieces as space in that area is just ripped apart. If you're really unlucky, you get sucked into the warp.
Oh, that's messed up. That's a screwy Eldar gun. I can see why you would want to have two of them on your giant Gundam Wraith Knight thing, though, because oh boy, that'd mess some fools up.
It's horrific. It's brilliant. It's so good.
And it's like on the gauntlet thing, so you could still technically, I mean, I'm sure you can't do this in the tabletop, but you could still have like another gun in his hands or like a sword. His hands are free. Why not?
Just absolute double up. All the weapons. You can hold some. You can have some sticking on your wrists. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, I just love wrist-mounted like weaponry. That's such a cool like action or anime aesthetic to just
Yeah. As Shai says, the D cannon in older 40k would just instant kill. They just got rid of whatever they were up against. They're really fun.
A warp gun, sure, yeah.
The other thing they can have access to is the sun cannon, which is essentially a giant plasma cannon, but obviously better and more efficient because it's the Eldar, and their stuff is just more efficient than than the Imperium stuff. As I was going through and kind of putting everything together for this, no matter where you look, at some point, wherever you're like researching stuff, you will see references to it's like this, but way more efficient because the Eldar made it.
Fair enough. I mean, it fits with the 40k lore, so why not?
It just really hammers home how much more, like, just how far ahead the Eldar kind of could technically are, but maybe would be if they hadn't literally, shagged a new chaos god into existence.
Oh, they did a lot more than just shagging, though, to get Slaanesh into existence.
That is true.
The having too much sex was the least of their problems, I think, right? Then they got into the murder, the murder torture stage play, the murder torture musical.
Hey, wow, I will not have disparaging of our Emperor's Children's beautiful musical. The Maraviglia is art. Art, I say.
We wouldn't have the Noise Marines without it. So you're right. I'm sorry. I've been a little harsh this episode. I apologize. I apologize.
Shai has pointed out that in the actual rules, Space Marine stuff is often better, but the rules don't really reflect the actual universe a lot of the time, do they? Especially since when it comes to just, Space Marines as a whole, you're taking quite a lot of them. Whereas in a lot of the more popular books and especially games, Space Marine, the game being a prime example, like 4 lads just annihilated all the orcs.
Yep. And all the chaos. Everything chaos is gone. I'm sure in the upcoming one, you'll just, storm your way through every Tyranid imaginable. And yeah, cool.
So before we get off the walkers, we do need to talk about the Eldar Knight, which is it's a thing. It's a whole thing. It's it's basically a centaur. So
wait, really?
At one point, the Eldar did have a centaur. They had a model for it in Epic, and it's complete with 4 legs and a big long lance gun, and
oh my
there we go.
God!
What the fuck is that, Kirioth? What is that? What have you shown me?
I
love it. Well,
I can't
not really.
make heads or tails of where anything but the legs are on that thing. Like there's what? It's best not
to look at it too long. It starts folding your brain over. It's basically an Exodite thing. So the Exodite clans built or grew the Knight, and it's an interesting look for sure. Yeah, it's like Wraith Knight size, so it's pretty chunky. It's pretty big. And there's like a counterpart to it with the Slanesh Knight, was it? There was like a Chaos version of it as well that was not Eldar, but like a kind of opposite to it. It's not aged well, I'll be honest. I mean, the fact that we've only got an epic model to go off is kind of rough. But they had different versions, so they had a whole.
The Hell Knight makes even less sense.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Okay? Is that supposed to be a cockpit? Right that you're supposed to put an Eldar in there and ride that thing. Yeah,
I love it. So there's also a Fire Gale Knight as well, which has quite the catwalk model pose. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I just
yeah.
The crews of these demon engines have long since died, but their soul live on as demons floating within the shells of their war machines.
Isn't that just a soul stone technically?
Yeah,
pretty much.
What? Carryoth, what is that?
That's the Fire Gale.
That's the
Eldar
Fire
Knight.
Gale. That's like. Have you seen? Surely you've seen the Peter Griffin that's all legs. That's what that is.
Yeah, it
do
is.
Those legs go all the way up? Why,
Yeah.
yes, they do.
That's what that is.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Oh God, those.
The
are
official
awful.
art doesn't look like it's firing a gun. It looks like it has its hand behind its back, like it's being all sassy.
Yeah,
It looks like it's got its hand on its hip, like. Oh no, you didn't.
And actual high heels as well, like actual high heels.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh,
Which is quite the choice.
Oh,
And
man,
the other one is a Destroyer Knight, which is apparently doing a fancy ass dance there. I don't know what that pose is.
It looks like it's got 4 arms and the top 2 are clapping.
It's like a little jig. You've got the hands clapping up top. You've got a hand on one hip. You've got another one that's like raised in the air. Literally doing a dance mid-battle.
Yeah, hips don't lie, dude. Hips don't lie. Oh man,
Do you want to go into something that's less horrific than these?
Yeah,
something that's just more graceful, nicer to look at.
I was gonna say, certainly these things fell out of style and have not been remade or recast, and they've just been cast into the warp and just forgotten.
It feels like they're not coming back, and to be honest, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think I can cope with them not making a comeback. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yep.
So the next place to go really is the Falcon grav tank, because the Falcon is essentially the rhino of the Eldar army, where you have a metric shed load of different variants that are just built off this one single platform.
Okay.
So it's the transport, it's their anti-tank, it's their anti-infantry. There are 2 different transport variations of it, in fact. It's also, I reckon, like one of the kits that's held up the best. Like, this has been around forever, this thing.
Yeah. Oh, these tanks are so cool.
They're really nicely done.
Hey, they look like those snow speeders, eh, Shy?
No, we're not going. Absolutely not.
Sorry, I couldn't help.
Stirring the pot. Everyone take cover. So.
Oh no, Shy's typing. I'm doomed.
Yeah, it's so ominous when it happens, isn't it? So.
At least tell my mom you killed me. Don't let her think that I'm still alive, okay?
Hey, Kirioth, did you see the most recent fan art that Football Head did of Shy? It's
no.
Shy is typing. I
that is accurate.
Yeah, that's
pretty
actually
good.
perfect.
Accurate. That is the
Yep.
exact face I was making when I saw Shy's typing. Big, to a T. To a T. But anyway, yeah, the tanks look great. Even I've seen these tanks before, and they're fantastic. I love like the sort of like bladed, I don't want to say wings, but like that bladed front that comes out looks so sleek, and like I love it.
Yeah, they're really nice, and they've got like it is a similar situation to the Rhino, where you've got the Falcon, you've got the Fire Prism, which is dedicated anti-tank. You've got Firestorm, which is like anti-infantry. Night Spinner, Wave Serpent, which is another form of transport, and Warp Hunter, which I really, really like the Warp Hunter, which is, again, it's a Forge World thing, model-wise. It's just one of the best-looking vehicles, and it doesn't ever seem to really age. It always looks good, even though it's been out for a long, long time, that kit. A long time.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the better ones. It's like you don't really need to upgrade. Like when you start off with a good design, how much updating does it really need? I mean, sure, you probably don't want that thing in metal cast or resin, but yeah, good design doesn't need too much of an update.
Yeah. So that's the Warp Hunter that Charlotte's put in, and it's just such a cool variant of the.
Looks
of
like
the
it's
Falcon.
compensating for something.
Did she?
Shy.
You should link the Fire Prism. That's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, the Fire Prism. There's a couple of the current one, I believe, has got the Bright Lance on it. The Prism Cannon, though, is this chunky, like crystal thing. Like I don't even know how. There we go.
Oh, what in the what? How? What? So what does it do?
Quite the look, isn't it? Quite the look.
Yeah. What does it do? What, like, is it just, does it magically fire? It's called the Fire Prism, so I assume it's like. Tell me more, Kirioth.
It's a weird weapon, right? It's weird. So you've got the two crystals in there. So you get like a charge chamber at one end, and then it goes through an acceleration chamber into a big crystal, which then traps it, and then fires it within a fraction of a second, and then it goes through a second prism, so that you can either just annihilate a tank, or you can disperse it to annihilate a squad of enemy infantry.
Oh,
it's a whole thing.
So it's a really fancy laser light refractor?
Yeah, pretty much. And
all right.
It looks
Cool.
better now than it did, I think, to be fair.
I was going to say, like that, because there's that green tank that has the giant prism on it. Is that just without, like, the front part so is that just for, like, destroying tanks? Because it's not refracting it the second time and making it thin?
I'm pretty sure that is the older version of the one on the red tank.
Oh, okay. I just thought they were two different variants, like you could run it two different ways.
That's the thing that's like, they really changed the design of that weapon, like really badly. For me, the old one looks a bit silly in a way. It looks a little bit goofy because it's so chunky. Like it's just a big chunk of like diamond stuck on the side of a turret. But it was super distinguishable.
Yeah, I actually like that one better.
I think the new one looks like, it doesn't just look like a Bright Lance. Bright Lances don't look as like, there isn't a crystal involved with the Bright Lance, but I feel like at a glance you can just tell what the big chunky one is a bit easier than the newer one.
Yeah, the new one, it looks like it could be any of their sort of like long, slender like guns. But like the big chunky green was like, oh damn. That has a giant diamond on the end. That's gotta be the Fire Prism. That's gotta be Kane. So yeah, I actually like that one a lot more. Also, DK Diamantes likes the big diamond one. No way.
The crowd is shocked, absolutely blown away.
Everybody blown
See,
away, completely shocked.
In the tabletop, they had this really fun thing called linked fire, where you could take like 3 of them, and only one of them had to be able to see the opponent, and then you would like fire the energy of the crystals to link up, like combine the beams, like the beam cannon in Command and Conquer, and just send out like one turbo laser from one guy. It was really cool.
Oh, that's so sick. Oh, I love
Rules
that idea
like
of
that
like
are
linking
great.
up the beams. Oh, dude. Or it'd
Yeah,
be really
I just-
cool if like you still had the giant green one, and then like there were 2 other tanks with the slim one that fired into the big one, and it just a mega cannon. I never played Red Alert, so I don't actually know what that. I can picture it.
The beam cannon. The beam cannon was a nod unit in Tiberium Wars, and it was like this tiny little buggy. But if you combine a lot of them together, they would combine their beams and then do like a whole shitload of damage. It was their artillery unit. It was really fun.
I love it. Anytime you get like
that's cool.
big f off mega cannon, I'm on board. That's such a Gundam move. I love it.
Yeah, this is why the War Walkers are cringe, because they don't understand what makes a real Walker cool, and that is the Command and Conquer GDI juggernaut. The fact that the Militarum don't have something like this is a crime. It's a howitzer on legs. It's 3 howitzers on legs with a little Millennium Falcon cockpit. It's so cool.
Design
my
choices, right?
I'm
That
getting
is-
literal flashbacks looking at that.
That's
Yeah,
such
I
a
was-
good,
yeah,
it's
Shai,
such
that
a
is-
good unit.
That might as well be an orc unit with how weird and goofy, and it looks like it shouldn't work. It looks like it should fall over to the right. Like those cannons look so heavy that it should just tip over.
So it has on the back of its legs, it has little supports that place itself. Oh, that's I am. Oh no, Shai, don't do it.
Oh,
Please don't do
epic
it.
embed failure! Laugh at this user.
Oh damn it! I wanted to show off my Command
Bricky.
and Conquer unit.
Oh,
They have little flaps that stabilize it when it fires the howitzers.
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually
another
really
big
fun.
anime move. Is like, when they've got the mega cannon, the little things pop out from the back of their feet and just chunk into the ground so they don't. Yeah, I like it.
Listen, I'm
it's
just
cool,
saying.
cool aesthetic.
I'm just saying, GW, you can learn a little bit from Command and Conquer's units. Okay, they have some dope shit.
I mean, that's just a more fancy Baneblade, surely.
Shut up.
To be fair, that mammoth tank just looks like the top turret on a tank, but with like 4 treads attached to it.
Yeah, it's more maneuverable and probably more realistic than the Baneblade, which is a brick on treads.
Yeah,
Ricky
it really
doesn't
is.
like the brick on treads. What are we doing?
I said realistic. I didn't say I didn't like it.
Oh, okay, cool. Now we're okay. Anyway, wait, what were we actually talking about, Eldar wise?
We were-
I
yeah,
forget.
we were on the-
we
we
were
were
on
on
the
the
diamond
Falcon
thing, the
platform.
fire prism, right? Or
Yes,
okay,
yeah. So we got. I'm not entirely sure how we got. That was it. We can trace it back. We're talking about the fire prism, the fact it had the
Walk it
rule to
back.
combine the different shots, and then onto the nod buggies that could do the same thing, and then
Oh,
onto the
yeah,
GDI.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
it makes sense. It's,
Yeah, you got to run it back a little bit. You got to do a little backtracking. We got there.
Yeah.
All right.
Something that's worth noting about the Falcon platform is that pretty quick, pretty fast. So the combat speed is 80 kilometers an hour, and the
What's that in
estimated
freedom
maximum
units,
speed,
man?
Freedom units, that'd be what, like 60 something? Something like that.
Okay.
55.
55?
I wasn't
Okay.
far off.
Okay.
The estimated maximum speed, 800.
What?
Yep.
I'm
Apparently,
sorry.
the
What?
estimated maximum. It only says estimated, but I have found that across multiple sites where the estimated max speed is 800 kilometers an hour for this grav tank,
Okay.
which is
I mean,
insane.
that is very on brand for the Eldar, but even still. So what does this thing look like again? The Falcon platform. What does this look like?
So it is literally. Oh god, I can't believe that is actually a thing. It's literally just all the ones that look like that.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It's just varying flavors of those.
Oh man, that thing going that fast? Yikes!
I feel like it's estimated because only the Imperium would try to bother and record that and wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
There's just some tech priest who's like, if I actually inform a superior as to how fast that thing's going, they may kill me, just out of sheer anger. Mm-hmm. So estimated like.
I wonder how Eldar determines speed. Like, do they use kilometers? Do they use miles per hour? What do they
probably use like units.
Wow. Thanks, Bricky.
No, they always look like 40,000 something units. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. It just popped into my head. I was just curious how Eldar do that shit.
My guardsman Prime says Eldar are slow and dumb. You want to argue maybe this commissar can help. That sounds about right, to be honest.
Oh, the primer. It'll get you the least prepared for the Xenos.
That's heresy.
So, we're still on the Falcon platform or tank or
whatever? I reckon we should shift over from the Falcon platform to the super heavies, because everyone's got to have super heavies, and Eldar still have super heavies. So they still get the giant floating tanks. The Scorpion being one of them, which because of the max speed thing, from what I could see, 280 kilometers an hour maximum speed for the Scorpion, which is quite fast because it's this size. It's massive.
Wow.
So you can see that the little canopy on the Falcon, like on the turret, it's the same size on the Scorpion, the little canopy on the top. So it's a good way to just get a rough idea as to size.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger for sure. Also, looks like they're maybe overcompensating a little bit with those bright lances. What are the big giant cannons on the front?
They're basically bright lances. They're pulsars. So just the traditional thing of a las cannon, but way bigger.
Mm-hmm. Man, I love that aesthetic of like the two sort of wing blades coming forward. Like that's a great design. It's no wonder they use that for like all their tanks, and I don't think they use it for their jet bikes, but still, I love that aesthetic.
It's so good, and like especially on the super heavies, they still look quick. Well, they are still quick, but they still look quick.
They are quick, buddy. For a super heavy, those things move. They are moving.
So scary. Yeah, and as Shai's pointed out, the pulsar version of the weapon on that, they direct threat to Imperial Titans and can slice a Lehman Russ battle tank in half with a single shot.
Oh, so these are tank busters.
Absolute armor.
No,
wreckers.
DK. Tank busters are orky.
Are they?
Orcs have a unit called a tank buster.
Yeah,
do
direct.
they actually?
Yep, direct tank busters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So a slightly, I would argue that this is actually in a way a little bit more scary. Super heavy that they have access to is the Lynx, which has a slightly different design, which I really like, because it's not quite as powerful in terms of the weaponry, but it is faster. It's faster than the Scorpion. It's more maneuverable, and it can do short bouts of flight, which is
I guess when you're going that fast, sure you can take off. Yeah,
terrifying. It's still got one pulsar on it, so it's not like it's got no gun. It still has a pulsar, or it can have a sonic lance for like anti-infantry. But the fact that they've got one of those guns on something that is even faster and more maneuverable and can fly for a little bit, I love the fact that that exists.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. So I think it's the that it's not symmetrical that kind of gets me. Like, it feels like it could very easily have a second pulsar gun on the other side, and it would actually make it look quite a bit cooler and sleeker.
See, I love like asymmetrical stuff. I really like it when one part of a vehicle is when it's just got that kind of separation, or the weapon is fully mounted on one side of it. I really like that. So the links, I've always
it's perfect.
Always
for you
loved
then,
the links. Yeah, that and the Cobra, the Cobra, they both like, they're both great for me because of that kind of asymmetry.
Whoa. Yeah. It's just, yeah, for me, I think I would like it more if it was symmetrical. Personally, because I feel like it would look a little sleeker, and you could have that second pulsar, so it's just like really like, it's moving fast and it's hitting hard.
There is a second Cobra version. So that's the current Cobra, which is not that dissimilar in a way to the Lynx. It's still not as fast. But it has a gigantic D cannon. So that massive gun in the center of it is the one that opens up warp rifts, like just collapses it. So that's terrifying by itself, just the fact that a D cannon that size exists. There is an older version, if you prefer a more symmetrical look, which is that.
Oh, man. Actually, that looks like... I'm going to be the only one that gets this reference, because I'm probably the only one nerdy enough to be this into Transformers. But looks like when Galvatron transforms into a cannon in the Transformers 1986 movie. Yeah, it looks like Galvatron. Except not purple. Or, well, I guess he's kind of blue. Yeah.
I was going to say, to me, that just looks like an iron. That looks like something you would put on clothes to make them flat. That's all that looks like to me.
Oh, yeah, it does. Now that
I can't see anything else.
You know, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the best look.
Yeah. So what's next? What do we
there
got
are
next?
a couple of other super heavies that don't currently have models for 40k. I believe these were both epic ones. So Storm Serpent and the Void Spinner, which kind of, I mean, still very similar designs to the other ones, but oh yeah, I forgot about the Tempest.
Oh no.
Which I mean, as Eldar, it's very different. I'll put it that way. It's very different to some of the others.
That Tempest looks like if Warhammer 40k started a Micro Machine line.
It really does. There's something about like it's just so boxy.
Yeah, it's weird looking. It's so I don't like it. It just doesn't have that sleek Eldar look to it. I mean, I guess it's from a long time ago before they really had the aesthetic nailed down. So you can't fault it too much, but yeah, it doesn't have that really clean Eldar look to it.
And let's be honest, that's one of like the main draws to the army for me, is just how clean and sleek it looks.
Definitely.
And the fact that even the heaviest vehicles still look fast.
Yeah, they still look like sleek, like they could just cut through the air.
Yeah, I just love their vehicle designs. Yeah.
That Death Stalker is just a little phallic. Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. Just a wee bit.
Just a little bit. Just a wee bit phallic. One might say that's a fallacy, eh?
I can confirm it's a penis.
Thanks, Bricky.
You're welcome.
Bricky's still here, everyone. He can confirm that
nothing gets me more wanting to talk than seeing an Eldar penis.
I think we should move on. I definitely think we should move on.
This is the Hemlock Wraith Fighter.
Oh, sick!
I love that jet so much. It's so cool.
Man! Let's go! That's so cool!
It's fantastic. So it has like the pilot is a Spirit Seer.
Mm-hmm.
So it has like a little miniature infinity circuit in it, and it's so good because it has Spirit Stones within the fighter itself So if, say, the pilot gets knocked out or killed, the spirits actually in the hull of the fighter can continue to operate it at a basic level, even
so
if
it
the spirit
becomes
seer is
like
incapacitated.
so it kind of becomes a pseudo like Eldar dreadnought airplane.
Pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I love this thing.
Awesome. It's also one of the best looking aircraft in 40k.
Yeah.
It's so good. The weapons that it has on it are D-scythes, or at least this one has got heavy D-scythes, and a D-scythe is kind of like a D-cannon, but a bit more direct in a way, because it just rips the souls out of the enemy and shoves them into the warp.
Oh boy.
So it's a bit less of like a little kind of miniature black hole or warp rift, and it's more just ripping the soul from the body and depositing it in hell, effectively. And it also doesn't leave behind any damage. So when this thing fires on someone and kills them, there's
it's just like they slump over
left.
and yeah.
Yeah, but there's no obvious impact or anything left behind, which also is incredibly dark.
Yeah,
just the fact that
really you just come to a soulless corpse and it's just no damage, nothing. It's like it fell asleep and never woke up, and it's like, ooh, that's creepy. I don't like that. I would not want to fight the Eldar. Like, because it's like, you fight anything, it's like, okay, I died, that sucks. And it's like, the exact, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're in hell now. It's like, what happened? I was fighting, and now I'm in the warp screaming. What happened?
Why me? I just heard the vague sound of an aircraft, and now,
now I'm screaming and being tortured in the warp, and it's like, oh man, no relief.
It's also something they don't like deploying as well, because it's like a horrific weapon. It also amplifies the Spirit Seer's abilities. So it's got something called a Mind Shock pod, so that it can just cause a wave of terror as it attacks people. So it makes them panic, and then they get dumped in the warp. It's an awful vehicle.
That is a horrible weapon. Oh my god.
I love it.
I mean, Slanesh must love when they use this thing.
You feel like it's got to be super taboo, whoever came up with it. Like, okay, I've got an idea. Tell me if this is too much, given our entire history with this particular Chaos God. But what if? It's like,
hear me out, guy.
Don't shoot me straight away. Let's at least talk about the benefits first, because you're not going to like this. But
yeah. Damn. Whew.
So, alongside that, they also have the Nightwing, which is a little bit of an older Forge World thing.
For being older, it looks all right. I'm okay with that.
It's okay. The Hemlock is so good that it kind of makes the Nightwing look a little less.
Like clearly
impressive.
Not as cool as the Hemlock, but for being an older model, if the Hemlock didn't exist, I would think that's pretty cool.
Oh, you're right. I totally forgot about those, Shy. Yeah, new Nightwings for Aeronautica.
Those Nightwings look real spiffy. I like those a lot too.
They just look a bit sleeker than the older one.
Yeah.
They're not like totally different, but they definitely seem a bit more like kind of smoothed out, and those look a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think probably scaled down, it loses a lot of the weird angles that it's got going on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, still good-looking ship. Even the older one, good-looking ship. But man, the Hemlock just blows it out of the water.
Downside of having one particular aircraft that is just one of the best in the range. It's like comparing all the others, it's like, it's pretty good, but it's not as good as that.
No chance.
So this one has got 2 shuriken cannons and bright lances. So pretty like standard weapons. There's nothing completely insane about the pilot for this one. It's a relatively normal fighter. There is a kind of Hemlock variant, which I like. I don't know if I like it as much as the Hemlock itself, but it's still a decent looking.
Ooh, that's really cool. Do I like that more than the hemlock?
It's difficult, isn't it?
The Eldar planes have caused me so much pain, but they're so cool. It makes me hard to hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's close between that and the hemlock. It's really close. Well, I'll just say I like them both. They're really Eldar playing so good.
Yeah. It's the Nightshade Interceptor, that version of it.
Wow. Yeah, that is a very anime name. You're right, Shy.
It really is.
I like the name. Yeah.
It's piloted by a Crimson Hunter, which is an aspect warrior, which just does murder by aircraft, pretty much. Like, that's what they do. So pretty focused in. They know what they like and they do it.
Cool.
It's pretty much the same setup as well as the Nightwing in terms of the loadout. You've got two bright lancers on it, and there's a pulse laser as well. So it's not that dissimilar, really.
Yeah, just a different design.
Yeah.
Does it move faster at all, or is it just literally just a different design?
It's pretty much just a different design.
Okay. So in terms of like which one would be stronger, the hemlock would probably be your heavy hitter, and this would be this seems like it's kind of just like your everyday fighter that you deploy.
It's kind of one of those things where they've both been made to be ridiculous. Because the hemlock it's got the spirit seer, and it can send out a wave of terror and panic, and it's got the hilarious D-scythes and just shunting people's souls into the warp. But the Nightshade Interceptor is piloted by Crimson Hunters, who are like ridiculously rare type of aspect warrior. So they're like the best of the best at piloting stuff. So it's like it's that kind of similarly overpowered but in different ways kind of approach that Games Workshop loves to do.
The Nightshade Interceptor is overpowered because of the pilot, not necessarily because it has a ridiculous loadout.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know how to introduce this thing. I'm just gonna put it in.
Okay.
This is the Phoenix, and I feel like you either love it or you hate it, and there's no middle ground.
I love it. I think that's pretty great. It looks like it belongs in Batman.
It looks like a Batarang. I hate it.
It does look like, yeah. I kind of switch between the two. Like every few months, I remember it exists, and I'll either suddenly go, actually no, I do quite like that, or I'll go, oh, I forgot that thing exists. I hate it. There's never any. I can never decide which way round it is.
I like it. I think it's still got that kind of nice, sleek, bladed Eldar look, and it's a little different from like the other planes and the other I like it. I think it's cool. Actually, it kind of looks like a Klingon bird of prey.
It does a little bit, actually.
A little bit, yeah.
That's. Oh, see, no, I don't know. I'm undecided. I'll tell you what.
Especially in that orange picture that Shai posted, it really looks like it belongs in the Klingon
it looks
Empire.
amazing in there.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks really good in that art. So that's still a fighter. There's quite a few different fighter variants for them. They do have a super heavy gunship, which is the Vampire Hunter. Don't know why they called it that. Wow. I'll be honest, I've got no clue as to why they decided on Vampire Hunter. But
these look like now all I see are Klingon bird of preys. That's all
this
I'm
one's
now.
super bird of prey.
Yeah,
like it's like almost. I wouldn't say exactly the same shape, but not that far.
Pretty
off.
close. If you painted that thing like green and red, I mean, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it really is. It is pretty cool, though. So there's two varieties of this, basically. There's the Vampire Hunter and the Vampire Raider. The Raider is one that has transport capacity.
Oh, okay. That makes sense for being a Raider.
It's about sort of Thunderhawk equivalent, which just plunges down to ground level. It can go, maximum recorded speed is 3,200 kilometers an hour. Which I did look at this earlier, and then I've immediately lost the It's ridiculous.
That thing moves. Yeah,
There we go. 2,000, essentially 2,000 miles an hour.
That's that. It moves. It definitely goes kind of fast. Yeah.
Gets down nice and quick, drops everyone off, and then leaves. The the vampire hunter, which has no transport capacity, is full of weapons. So missile launchers, scatter lasers, and it has a Titan grade hollow field. So it's like it has like the same shield that a Titan does. That one is
even if you could this thing is moving so fast. It's like you can't even lock onto it. And even if you could lock onto it, it's got a field that's as strong as a Titan. You said?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Oh man, there's no. How do you stop this thing?
Prayer, probably.
Just pray.
I will say that the non-transport one, so the Vampire Raider, the transport one, that's got like 2,000 miles an hour or 3,200 kilometers an hour. The Vampire Hunter is slightly slower than the Raider, so the Hunter is 3,100 kilometers an hour. So it is a little bit slower.
Oh yeah, really, you really had to notch it down for that transport capability. You really had to stunt that speed, huh? Jeez.
It's true. I did do a quick Google to see what the kind of equivalent was and how fast things were. I think it's still just it's the size of these things as well. Like they're not small aircraft, and I know the Blackbird isn't small either, but it's just the idea of something that big and that quick having a literal force field around it when it's, plummeting towards the ground covered in guns is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
a little bit. I would much rather be in one of those than in a Thunderhawk all day. Those blow the Thunderhawks out of the water. Design-wise, speed-wise, granted, I don't know the exact loadout of a Thunderhawk, but I would assume the loadout is better too. Like, they're so much cooler.
The Thunderhawks do have a full-on battle cannon on them for some reason, which is mounted on top of the aircraft, because that's definitely where you want to put those.
We're referring to the Space Marine Thunderhawk, right?
Yep.
That thing is the size of a small train. I like that thing a lot. It's big.
I love the gun on top of it. I love it.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's
For
so
a transport ship, wouldn't you want it more towards the bottom so you could clear the LZ? So you can
stick it
land
on
and
the
let off
top.
the troops?
No, you don't get it, DK. You're flying, so just angle yourself down for a little bit, and then
fly towards the floor, fire, and then pull back
silly
up.
of me.
and
How
let the
silly of
insane
me.
recoil send you back to normal elevation.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. How stupid of me.
Hey, our best boy
So
Septimus piloted one of these things. Remember?
That's true, and he piloted it like an absolute monster. He was drifting this thing. That's fair. Okay. Yeah. I still like the Eldar one more.
I mean, the Eldar one is objectively cooler. It's also the the Vampire Raider and the Vampire Hunter are the last two that we had to look at. So we've somehow managed to end the Eldar one with a Space Marine, a Space Marine flyer. But we can do the direct comparison, which is the most important thing. And on account of it not being a flying brick, I'm going to say that the two Vampire class aircraft win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's fair. I
disagree. We have not.
Yeah, but it's 2-1, so your vote doesn't matter.
We have
anyway.
not talked about the Dark Eldar Tantalus.
Ooh,
okay.
Hello? What's the Tantalus?
It's a baller ass fucking thing, man.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It's a Craftworld episode, Bricky. So we can't talk about the Tantalus because this is Craftworld. Dark Eldar.
You're right.
Can't do it.
That would really just suck if I just posted a link of it.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for the link.
Can't
there it is.
It's It's not actually loading for me, so I can't.
Please load for me.
It
God
isn't.
damn it.
It's not loading.
It's not loading.
Please
we
mercy
can't
on
see
me.
it. Epic event failure live at this user.
Yeah, I've got infinite load here. Oh no!
Oh no! Now it's
little,
just a little shit. Oh no!
the little poop emoji's right there.
Oh,
Shy was feeling generous.
Holy, that's very, very cool. That is. If this wasn't a Craftworld episode, I would be with you on that, Bricky, on that being the coolest.
Unga booba la blah Han Solo. It looks like a skiff, okay?
It really does look like that.
That looks way cooler than a skiff.
You know what, Shy? Good point. I totally forgotten about the Void Dragon Phoenix. I totally forgotten about it. That's.
I mean, like, that's not bad, but it looks so much like the other one, the vampire, whatever. Maybe a little sleeker, but it kind of has that same vibe to it. So
it's not
it's
bad.
fine. It's fine.
Not bad.
Yeah, I like it, but it's very, very similar to the vampire ones.
It's it's basically just the bomber version of the Phoenix that we looked at before.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's all right.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah,
It's
but that
stupid.
Tantalus
I hate it.
Rock. I really like that Tantalus.
Tantalus sweep.
I do.
I mean,
but
the
this is a
Tantalus
Craftworld
is pretty
episode, so the Tantalus isn't up for vote. Bricky,
Listen, I got sick today, which were the gods telling me I can't shit on Craftworlds today. And they think they can try as hard as they want, but they can't stop me.
Can't stop, won't stop.
They tried to take you out, and you weren't having it.
Yep. So that's it, Kyrion? Is that we hit all the boxes? We check all the checks?
I think so, yeah. There are, of course, Titans, but that's its own whole thing.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back for another episode on Titans.
Which would take this even longer than it already is. I feel like a Xenos Titans thing should have its own little entry, because there's some really cool stuff.
Here's really hey guys, cool I've got another idea. Please have me back.
I've been rumbled. No.
Hey,
wait, hang on. Let me salvage it. Or you can just do whatever you like. I don't care. You do it.
Mm-hmm. You've already been exposed. We've exposed your
saved it right at the end.
We've exposed you. Don't worry. I would do the same thing. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Survival of the fittest.
It's right. I'll just send another suspicious package to Bricky in the mail so that he's ill again, and then.
Oh hell yeah, bro! Anthrax.
Oh, God.
I've still got a little bit left. I can send you some more.
Shy said you forgot the support weapon battery.
Is it a vehicle though?
No, that thing ruins my tabletop experiences. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know if I count that as a. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess there is a dude sitting in it.
I mean, that's just a turret, right?
It's just a turret.
I always have that down as like kind of artillery classification, where it's just like it's just a gun on a thing.
Does it move at all by itself, or is it just stationary turret?
I hate how these look. I know that has not answered the question, but I'm just looking at it, and they're so top heavy.
It looks
to an insane degree.
It's a turret. It's just a turret with Eldar paint, and it's just there's nothing. Yeah, I don't like it.
Let's be honest. They're just a bit boring, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just a little bit boring. Like it exists. It exists. That's enough. It's not. Yeah, a mobility scooter with a giant gun.
Yeah, brother, I love my
Hell
America.
yeah, brother.
Let's go.
I didn't want to be the one to say the first 5 words in case I got in trouble, even though it's not me who said it. So
no, it's very, very American Walmart mobility scooter. Yeah, Shy's right on that one. is right on the money. I've been to Walmart a few times. I used to grocery shop there when I was low on cash in college, and yeah, yep.
Were there many mobility scooters with guns attached? Or is that a silly question because the answer's clearly yes?
Okay, there weren't any guns attached to it, but there were.
We were, I lived in California. We lived in California, and a California compliant mobility scooter means no guns attached.
California compliant mobility scooter.
Oh my god,
I love it.
You know what? Fuck you. Bullpup's your Eldar support weapon.
Yeah, bullpup that thing. Then it'll be American. That I don't know why, but that feels like a merch idea. California compliant mobility scooter. I just have a picture of the Eldar sitting on his turret. I like it.
I'm pretty sure Shai has just written that down. I'm pretty sure that's...
Oh, of course. She's going to turn that into a poster for next month, I'm sure. Bricky, are you well enough to take us home and end the episode?
Oh, you bet it, buddy. All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, everyone, very much for watching this episode. It's been a great time having you in here, Kirioth. I'm very glad that we were able to talk about the Eldar support weapons and all the various flyers and things. Check us out. Where can they find you, Kirioth?
Kirioth TV, and that's it for everywhere.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Follow us on the video things, buy the merchandise and the prints, and we'll see you next week for more 40K.
Oh man, I feel bad for making Bricky do that outro, actually. Oh man.